Well, the Lower Phalen Creek project has a mission to protect the Phalen Creek watershed in which we're sitting right now, and the rain garden is one of the projects that we focused on. We like to build rain gardens throughout the watershed so that the rain and snow melt that comes off is soaked up in these little rain gardens. We are in the Mississippi River watershed, we're in the Phalen Creek sub-watershed, and we feel it's very important that our storm water that leaves our watershed is cleaner than it would if we didn't have these rain gardens. Plants that you put in a rain garden are plants that are hardy to salt, grime, chemicals that are coming off of car tires and oil and greases, and we always put in natives. You can build a rain garden with hostas, but our preference is to put in a native plant because that serves both two purposes. One, you get some butterfly and bird habitat, and equally important though is natives have these massive long root systems. So for example, a lawn will have a 2-inch root system, but the plants that we put in here will have a 6-foot long root system. So like when a coneflower grows, it busts up the soil, maybe there's some clay down there, and then that will become a pathway for water. So you have all these roots basically drilling holes into the earth for your infiltration, so you get more and more water to infiltrate as they become more and more established. The way we design these rain gardens, we put plants that are like dry conditions in the upper parts of the basin, and in the bottom part we put wet things. So we have, in the bottom we'll have bulrushes, things like sweet flag, things like irises, pretty little purple irises. And then as we move up the bank of the rain garden, we'll put in things like coneflowers or prairie smoke at the top, which is a lovely little tiny short prairie grass. The other thing that we do is we try and design them so that they have different times of the year that they bloom, so something is blooming the whole year, and then we also do different heights. So we wouldn't put a really tall plant on the outside edge of it so you couldn't see into it. We put our tall plants in the bottom of the basin, and then they really kind of all even out.
I've been all over the world, 17 different countries, and I've never done anything this exciting.
Now that the cement path has been poured, the ceramic tiles are ready to be adhered on top. But first, before the tiles can be grouted, all of the plants need to be planted into the 2 swales that make up the rain garden.
We had been stymied by drought, so we waited for a long time to plant because it was too dry. So we really went all through July, all through August, wanting to plant but not wanting to put the plants in. We really got a late start. We started on September 10th, and we got the plants all ordered. So I had 2 large rain garden sites that day, 2,500 4-inch pots sitting in these 2-block rain gardens, and it was going to freeze that night. So we all panicked and got blankets out and blah, 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 blah. But in the end, it was fine. We got everything in. Probably 30 volunteers showed up that morning. We made short work of the project. By the end of the day, we had the entire thing mulched and planted.
Yeah, it was 2,000 plants planted, and I had a chance to see a really, really, really big multi-dimensional rain garden project come together with the help of a lot of people. So it was very cool.
Two days later, we had a 100-year storm event, which means about 24 inches of rain fell in 24 hours and blew out our entire garden. Just gullied all the plants. All the plants ended up at the bottom of the pit, and it was this absolute mess.
So we came here today to adhere the tile to the concrete path. But as we've discovered, nearly the entire path has been undercut. There's been a gully of water going underneath the sidewalk. It actually washed all of the structure underneath the path away. So right now we're just shoveling the class 5 that got washed away back underneath the path. and we're trying to clear off the path a little bit. We're expecting more rain on Monday, so we have to do something so that more of the path doesn't wash away than it already has.
We spent another 2 to 3 weeks and an additional couple $1,000s trying to bring the plants back. We replanted them, we redesigned the whole rain garden because, and what that redesign meant is a new rock wall that I think is a really great addition. It looks really good, but we really had to redesign it because we had some erosion problems from the trail, we had some erosion problems from the parking lot above that was causing water.
We think that maybe finishing this project in the spring is going to be the most viable option. We're not sure what's going to happen, but it might be put off until the springtime now.
I'm at the gateway to Bruce Vento. Well, I think we're finishing up, and yeah, we're about to be finished with this.
1 year after the major storm event, the day has finally come to adhere and grout the tiles to the cement path. Once the tiles have been laid, the East Side Gateway Rain Garden will be complete. Now, it is Mother Nature's turn to take over.
I just really like the idea of community art and art kind of bringing people together. And from what I know about this project, it's also kind of an environmental restoration and water remediation project. And I think that's really cool. And I think it's cool when so many things like that can kind of work together, like community and art and environmental activism.
So this is my second project that I've worked with Chris on. So we've built 2 rain gardens together over the last 8 years. And she's been really wonderful to work with because she has this art component to it. So all of the rain gardens that we've built together have a public art component to it. And having that piece really makes them different and special. And having a hardscape like a rock wall or a bench or a sculpture next to these rain gardens adds to their curb appeal. And I think one of the things that we have to do kind of, I don't know, politically or culturally is to get people away from thinking they should have just a green lawn, and into thinking about these different beautiful aspects of capturing rain in their yard. And what Chris has done is helped us kind of add that hardscape art piece to it that really gets people excited about it.
Traditionally, we think of artists as people who create images and objects, such as paintings or sculptures. But this project is an example of an expanded notion of artistic practice at the intersection of art and activism. In this model, the artist is not the sole creator, but rather in relationship with others as a collaborator who realizes projects that have an actual ecological impact, as well as symbolic, aesthetic, and expressive dimensions. I believe that artists can use their imaginations to awaken connections between nature and culture, individuals and communities, and to make the invisible visible by revealing ecological processes.
And so the interesting thing about this particular project is it involved so many creative and interesting people. It involved the university with Chris Baumler, and it also involved her students. It involved our young people that live here on the east side. It involved the Lower Phelan Creek Project, the city of St. Paul, and it is a true collaborative effort, as is Bruce Vento. And this is the gateway to Bruce Vento and to Sweet Hollow. And so it really is a holistic project in all kinds of ways. And I think that it is, it's a model. It's a national model, in my opinion, because of the collaborative effort that has taken place.
If you want more information on how to build your own rain garden, you can find your watershed district and resources by contacting your local watershed through mnwatershed.org. One rain garden isn't going to make much of a difference, but many rain gardens will start to impact our water quality.